Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and we are doing a special collaborative series. So I also have John C. Morley joining us today. So, let me start by sharing about what we are going to be talking about today. This week's show is about staying humble and authentic. So we're going to get into how this relates to your business and also to your financial house. So how to be humble, we're going to get into the definition, and being humble, how it starts with heart, with being in your heart, heart-based work, no matter what you're doing. How are you in contribution and giving back? So there's also admitting when you're wrong, taking ownership of a situation. So yes, something may have happened on our planet, in our world, in our personal life that we could blame another person, place, or thing, obviously. And the thing is that when you're blaming somebody else, then you're giving all the power and control over how you can change your situation to that situation. So the moment you take ownership of whatever piece you had or whatever you can do that you can control in that situation, that's when you get to own it. And that whoever you're blaming is no longer in control of your life and your situation. So that is part of it. Also appreciating others. And simple things like letting someone go ahead of you in line, or not trying to be the first one on the road. You know, if somebody wants to get ahead, let them get ahead in the street, because you're going to stay at the safe speed and not get a ticket or have a problem. So staying humble can really be a blessing and a gift. It's listening more, talking less. It's not comparing yourself to others, but comparing yourself to you and who you are, how you're growing, how you're changing, and how you're continuing to take steps to improve your life and to stay in contribution to others. So first off, we will start again. We'll start this hour. For the first 30 minutes, we're going to have John C. Morley sharing about how this staying humble applies in your business. And then I will continue on the second half of the show, sharing about how the attitude of gratitude and staying humble and authentic can make all the difference, even in your financial house. So just to welcome back John C. Morley. John is a serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist, talk show host, member of the U.S. Press Agency, writer, video producer, and president of his local Chamber of Commerce, a 501c3. John has inspired children and adults of all ages to find their passion. Through his personality and knowledge, he gets people excited to learn more about themselves, others, and of course, he also shares a lot about science. You can quickly check some of the past experiments he has conducted by going to YouTube and typing Science Fridays with John, or visiting BelieveMeAchieve.com to see many of his other fabulous creations. John knows that not everyone learns in the same way. Thus, he prides himself on being dynamic and exciting and teaching from auditory, visual, and kinesthetic perspectives. So welcome to the show, John. And I will see you later on in the show.
Well, thank you once again, Sheila, for that very warm welcome. Of course, it's a privilege, a pleasure, and honor to be with you guys again today. And of course, I have another great topic. But if you are missing these topics and, of course, you want to check back in on them, well, it's very, very easy to do. All you need to do is you'll notice there's a QR code at the top right-hand side of the screen. But if you are not watching us and you're listening to us like on the radio, well, then you can just go to believemeachieve.com. That's believemeachieve.com for more of my fabulous creations, like my latest article that just published that you're definitely going to want to check out. Take this into consideration. Bees, they are very vital for our existence because they are responsible for allowing us to have the foods that we eat each day. Without them, foods wouldn't be able to grow. And the title of my article is Bee Life and How AI Will Protect Them. So definitely check that article out as well as many other great articles. So the topic for today is how to be humble. Now, before we can understand being humble, let's go over to Merriam-Webster and get a definition of what humble is. So humble is an adjective and it's a verb. So as an adjective, not proud or haughty, not arrogant or assertive, reflecting, expressing, or offered in a spirit of deference or submission, a ranking low in a hierarchy or scale, not costly or luxurious. And humble as the verb is to make someone humble, to destroy the power, independence, or prestige of. But a lot of times people's egos, get in the way, whether this is personal, whether this is business. And I find that people say to me, hey, John, why isn't this working? And my main thing I say to them is, you're not being humble. Now, I don't like to say that, but it's the truth. So now we know what the word humble means, okay? But humble starts out in our heart. So if we're desiring to be humble because we want to be on some big billboard and say, hey, I'm humble, well, you've already gotten your reward. If you're humble because of a pure intention of your heart and you want to help people for that reason, you're not looking to be on a billboard, well, that's the pure sense of being humble. But a lot of people, let's say, miss that point. And there are two radio stations that our head basically listens to. WIIFM and WIIFY. WIIFM is What's in It for Me, which a lot of people listen to, and WIIFY is What's in It for You. When we start to listen to the WIIFY station, people are more willing to listen to us. They're more eager to want to learn. They're more eager to not only that, but also potentially understand what we do, and yes, maybe even do business with us. So how do you be humble? I think that's really the question for today. So one thing you can do to be humble is to set that intention to be humble, right? And so when you're wrong about something, admit it, okay? We're not always right, but when we're wrong, let's admit that we're wrong. And let's, minus all the drama from it. The other thing I want to tell you about being humble is we have to be willing to receive feedback. None of us are perfect. And we can do this in a lot of ways, right? I have an acronym that I use all the time, and I'll share it with you. But I always say people have to be open to consistent, constructive feedback, CCFB. Consistent means that it doesn't just happen once. Constructive means it's not about, a personality or let's say a scolding, but it's feedback that can help people adjust their course. Let's equate this to a GPS. Many of us have GPSs in our car or maybe have a third party's system mounted on our dashboard. And that GPS is designed to do a couple things. One, it's designed to get us to the destination that we've chosen, okay, by giving us directions. And it guides us there. Now, if we make a wrong turn, what happens? The system will come back and say, rerouting. And so it course corrects to put us back on the path we need to get to our destination. When we're humble, We're open to other people giving us that consistent constructive feedback, very similar to a GPS system, in that we know that these people are giving us the feedback because they want to help us. They want to see us get better. Okay. That's important. Don't brag or boast about your achievements. Now, there's nothing wrong with sharing what you've done or, letting people know about an award you got or some other accomplishment. That is perfectly fine. What I'm talking about is don't be braggadocious. When, you're constantly telling people, oh, I have this, I have that. I have friends of mine in town that own some cars, and I have friends of mine in town that own a slew of cars, like maybe a half a dozen. Now, it's funny. The people that own this large slew of cars, like 14 or 15 cars, they are so braggadocious about not just the fact that they have them, about what each one costs, about all the limited features on it. And the other friends of mine that have only 3 or 4 cars are very humble. Yeah, I have a car or two. They're just so humble. Remember to give credit where credit is due. I don't care whether it's an intern. And I'll relate this to a situation that I had with a very good friend of mine. He started working in the financial risk department when he graduated a college, let's say maybe about maybe 7 years ago. And oftentimes there were interns in the department. So when he'd go to a meeting, and this meeting where the boss and the managers are expecting a presentation that he put together, oftentimes he gave it to the intern. When the presentation was so stellar, he would come back with his ego, cocky attitude and say, well, of course, I did graduate from Fordham. Okay, so hang on for a minute. Now, let's say he gets something from an intern, but this time it's really not good. Now, he doesn't know this until the people on the board, managers and the bosses say something like, hey, what is that? That's horrible. Oh, I'm sorry. I gave that to, I'll make up a name. I gave that to Josh, one of our interns. And unfortunately, he still has to learn. So they throw them under the bus when there is a problem. But when things are, let's say, all rosy and great, they take the credit for it. That's wrong. Remember to appreciate others often. And also remember to have gratitude for what you have. Accept other people's differences. Race, religion, orientation, color, creed, political party, etc. Respect everyone in this world. When you're humble, you are kind even when people are facing conflict. A humble person understands that we're always learning. We are always learning. When you're humble, you want to help other people in your community. And I think that's a big one, that you want to help other people. And you might be saying, well, John, what am I going to get by helping this other person? Well, you might not get anything now, but you may get the satisfaction of knowing you help somebody cross the street, or maybe you help somebody by brightening up their day with some sunshine, just because you took the time to show that they're important. Maybe you're at the grocery store, and it could be something as simple as, I've got, let's say, a whole carriage of food, and you've only got a container of milk and an item or two. Go ahead of me. That's okay. These are the kinds of things that pay back to us in karma tenfold. Now, people always say to me, John, well, why should I do that? Because if I do that, I'm going to lose out in life. Well, you're not going to lose out in life. It's about an attitude, okay? Now, some people wouldn't be caught dead by you allowing them to cross them or go ahead of the line. They just wouldn't even allow it or suggest that, right? Give somebody a genuine compliment. Now, I'm not talking about their looks. I'm not talking about the clothes they're wearing. Compliment them based on the skill they have. Maybe they gave a presentation. Hey, Dan, that was an awesome presentation. I love the way you captivated the audience and held us on the edge of our chairs until that breathtaking moment when you shared, the climax of your story. That's what being humble is about. Listen more, talk less. We were born with 2 ears, right, and 1 mouth, so we should listen more. Ask questions. When you don't understand something, ask a question. But when you ask that question, remember to take notes so you don't keep asking the same question over and over again. When you're humble, you don't compare yourselves to others. You compare yourselves to yourself. Well, this is what I was like last week. By me doing this, I can see I've gotten better. I talked about this before, but I have to say it again. Be grateful for what you have. I have an amazing thing I want to share with you, and it's called the gratitude rock. Maybe some of you have heard of it before. So a long time ago, I got a rock. My rock happens to be green. It doesn't matter. And the rock is smooth. And I picked this rock up in the morning before I start my day. And I really give thanks, but I feel grateful for these things that I have. And I spend maybe 3 or 5 minutes doing that. Then I put it in my pocket. At the end of the day, I take that rock out again. And I ponder over those things I'm grateful for. It could be things very simple like, a great roof over my head, a good, comfortable, safe car, clean and nice clothes, food to eat, clients, money in the bank. Now you might be saying, hey, John, well, I don't have the money I'm looking for. That's okay. Be grateful for what you have today. And I've said this before. If you've watched any of my other programs on any of the other networks that I'm on, when we make the choice to become grateful for what we have, more things in our life will appear that we can be grateful for. Approach the world with a curious spirit. I share this with a lot of my colleagues and team members, whether it's a creative project or a tech project. Approach something creative, okay? And oftentimes that creativity is going to be the spark that transforms you to the next level. But if you look at everything as, oh my gosh, I can't do this, or I don't know how to do this, and you see everything as work, you're going to find things very hard for you. I tell people I don't work a day in my life. I do get paid, but to creatively play. You can do the same thing. Play. Become curious about the world and see what it has to offer you. Spend time in nature. Take a walk, whether it's with your dog or maybe it's just enjoying the foliage that's going to come out soon, or maybe it's following a beautiful brook or stream. Taking a few moments to sit down and admire the water as it flows on the stream. A humble person sees enormous value in nature. And when you can spend a few hours in nature and just be amazed by its beauty, I think that in itself makes us humble. Recently, I wrote an article that I had told you guys to definitely check out on believemeachieve.com. And I will tell you that I was visiting a client maybe about a week ago. And we were doing some work for them, and he asked me if I would like to see their beehives. And I was petrified about going to see a beehive. I said, I'll take a look at it from, about 500 feet away, and I'll observe it. He goes, no, you can come closer. He says, you've got shorts on, they're light colors. You've got a white shirt on, you're in perfect shape. And I said, well, the last time I, was with a bee, I was like 3 or 4 years old. It didn't end well. And I got stung on my left arm, and it didn't leave a great taste in my mouth for how bees are. He says, bees are amazing creatures. So they started telling me about bees and how they work. And I knew they pollinated, but I didn't really understand everything they did. But bees are an essential animal in our world that makes it possible for us to have all types of farm life and even beautiful flowers. So they said to go, take a look at their bees. So after we finished doing some work, I went over with them. I said, do I need to put like a bee mask? No, you're all fine. So we start walking outward toward their garden. And I am getting a little nervous. I see the bees, like I'm at 500 feet away. I said, no, you got to come closer. And so I'm outside the gate. And so I go in the gate, which is to their little garden area. And they have I think there was about 4 or 5 beehives. And each beehive, I think roughly has about I don't know, maybe 10,000 bees in it. And so I'm now about, I don't know, maybe about 300 feet from the bees, and I'm still staying back. I see the bees buzzing around. I'm like, I'm going to stay where I am. And I'm there, and pretty soon, within a few minutes, the bees start coming around me. And he's like, well, don't get nervous. Don't swat them. Don't do anything crazy. Don't make any erratic movements. You'll be fine. And against my better judgment, I said, okay, I'll listen to them. I mean, they have this bee farm. They don't have any masks on themselves. They're in shorts, and I'm wearing the same kind of clothing, similar type, similar color. So I just decided to just breathe and stay calm. And he says, John, he says, come on, come a little closer. I said, okay. So I walked a little closer to the beehive. So you can't see anything, but you got to come over the front. Now I've got a lot more bees swarming around my arms, my legs, and I'm getting a little more than nervous. And I usually don't get nervous, but this had me in a very precarious situation. But he said, no, come on, you're going to be fine. And I said to myself, okay, A, this is going to go really well, or B, I'm going to get stung quite a bit. So I said, I've already got these bees around me. It seems like they're leaving me alone. I said, let me, walk a little closer. And I did. And I got literally within a few inches of the hive. And I looked and I saw the hive and the queen bee and how they make the honey. And I was there for a few minutes. And I said, can I step back now? He said, yeah. He said, have you seen enough? I said, yeah. I said, I think I've seen enough. I said, there's a lot of bees around me. He said, what do I do? He says, nothing. He says, when you walk out, he says, they'll fly away from you. So I'm a little nervous at this point. And being humble is definitely on my chart here, that I'm humble. I'm nobody. I'm just somebody that's trying to observe these creative creatures. And so I start walking to the gate, and some bees start flying away from me. Then I walk out of the gate, and the rest of the bees just sort of fly away from me. As I get another 5 feet from the garden, all the bees are nowhere near me. And I was like, that was a relief. So I learned something. I learned that in being humble in this moment, I learned a couple things. One, bees are not actually out to harm us. See, when a bee stings you, it actually dies. And that's because 80% of its digestive tract, which is what it needs to live, gets suffered when it stings and it has to pull out away from the stinger. It loses that, so it dies very quickly. And so bees don't want to harm you. They don't want to sting you. But if you antagonize them, where, let's say, try to put them in an unsafe situation, they're going to sting you. So when you see a bee, just leave it alone. The bee's not here to harm you. And I will tell you that I have a new appreciation for bees. After that moment, he said, you'll have to get some honey. Next time we'll have to give you some fresh honey. And that became the, let's say, beginning point of me wanting to write about bees. And then I did some research to find out if there was a company that was doing any AI stuff with bees. And I found there was, and that really got me excited. But because I was humble and open to the bees and put aside my judgment, I was able to learn. And I got to visit those bees and come away and be completely safe. Now, you might be thinking I'm crazy, but again, if you decide to actually visit bees, definitely have someone that knows about bees with you. And he had been working with these bees for years. But when they said to me, these are nice bees, and the question you might be asking me, hey John, are all bees nice? Are all bees nice? There are good and bad bees when it comes to cohabitating with them, depending on them for pollinating. In fact, there are some bees that pollinate well that you do not want to live around. So are bees usually friendly? So if we're talking about honeybees are friendly humans. Honeybees are most likely indifferent to humans. They do not see us as immediate threat. So most of the time they pass by without any incident. Okay. How do you know if a bee is friendly? Well, don't wait till it stings you. Bumblebees rarely sting. Those are able, and they are generally very docile. They do not form swarms like other communal bees, and they only sting when truly provoked. Only female bumblebees have stingers. So that's very, very interesting. So, how do male bumblebees, let's say, protect themselves? And bumblebees are very interesting, but learning about bees and how they work, and I won't get into the whole story here. Check out that article. But because I made the choice to be humble, right, and be a little vulnerable. See, sometimes I think in business we don't want to be vulnerable because we're afraid of being taken advantage of. What I've learned in business is that if we can, let's say, become a little vulnerable, I'm not saying to become vulnerable with the whole kitchen sink, but just be a little vulnerable and see how the other person responds. A lot of times they'll respond in kind by sharing a vulnerability of a similar, let's say, level in their life. And that'll cause a bonding or a rapport building. And so that humbleness is very, very required in life. I mean, very required. So just thinking about that and how you can make a difference. So in business, when we make that choice to be vulnerable, and then when we get another vulnerability back at us, we feel better because now it's like there's equal investment. Even though money hasn't transferred hands, we have shared something that's probably even more valuable than money: parts of our life, our story, parts of who make us who we actually are. So the reason that most executives, most business owners don't want to become vulnerable is they feel you're going to take that piece of information and use it against them. That's why it's important to bond with them a little bit and let them know that you're on the same team. Now, you don't say you're on the same team, but they get to know you. With the bees, I think the fact that I just was being very calm, and even though I was a little nervous, they just came around me and didn't bother me because I was not a threat to them. And that was something that really inspired me and gave me a whole different outlook on bees. And the fact that a lot of bees are starting to die because of pesticides and different things in the world and the way people are living around bees, and also the fact that some people are trying to kill bees. But bees are actually good things, especially the bumblebees, right? But the thing is, or I should say the honeybees, right? So you're probably asking, are bumblebees good? So they're important pollinators of wild flowering plants and crops, and they do not depend on any one flower type. Some plants do rely on bumblebees alone to achieve pollination, and loss of bumblebees can have big effects on the ecosystem. And you might be asking, so what, let's say, does the honeybee pollinate? And, that'd be a very good question. But the honeybees, okay, are very, very important, including apples, melons, cranberries, pumpkins, squash, broccoli, and almonds, just to name a few. So, what I want to leave you with today is that making the choice to be humble is not always easy. Just like we talked about a while back about the paths of life, right? When we are humble, we're putting our neck on the line. There's a risk. But if we don't choose to be humble, we may never be able to reap the rewards that the universe has in store for us. Whether it's in business, whether it's personal or a relationship. It could even be you visiting a store, and because you took a genuine interest in someone and you were humble, they decided to give you a discount. I mean, there's lots of things that being humble can do for you. But one of the biggest things for me was that being humble allowed me to import some knowledge that I didn't even expect to get. I didn't know that this week's article about bees and how AI systems and this new beekeeper home that manages bees with a robot arm. I won't tell you too much so you guys can actually read, but it was very important to me to learn this and to share. So I want to give you guys a call to action. So that call to action is this, ladies and gentlemen. I would invite you to go to believemeachieve.com for more of my fabulous creations. And I have a special offer for those of you guys on the radio here today. Anyone that reaches out to us and wants to try out our social media campaign from Orbital Media can actually get a week of postings. That's 1 week for 5 days, 1 post per day to one social media channel for only $1.99 plus tax. Pretty good deal, right? All you need to do is reach out to believemeachieve.com. You can click on Orbital Media and then click on Contact Us, because I believe everyone should have social media, whether it's realtors, whether it's tradespeople. But a lot of people that do social media don't do it right. Social media needs to educate, not browbeat, needs to make sure that it captivates people in a way that gets people to follow. I built an audience from 0 to 700 in just about 3 or 4 months without spending any money on advertising. I did that because my content is of value. Also, being a member of the International Press Association also helps that too, but creating high quality content. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you. And Sheila, it's always great to be on your show and to collaborate and share some information that I believe will not only inspire, motivate, and captivate our listeners and watchers, but allow them to enter a new phase in their life, which is success. I can't wait to see you guys next week, or listen to me next week on the show. Until then, check out believemeachieve.com for more of my fantastic, amazing creations. And remember to read that article about the bees. You will definitely be bzzing around once you do. Take care and be well.
Thank you again, John, for sharing your wisdom on staying humble. And I am starting off the second half of the show talking about staying humble and how this affects every area of our lives, even our financial house, and how easy things can change in an instant. So staying humble is so important. I do want to start off this show. I have many, many friends, dear friends that are in Hawaii, in Maui, and on the different islands. And so my prayers and blessings go out to everyone there. I'm sure you all know about the wildfires, and I'm just so saddened for this situation. I am praying for all the people and hoping the wildfires will end soon. Okay, so for my friends that are actually on Maui and in Hawaii that have mostly lived there their whole life and work there, they have recommended this site, and there's many other places, but they said to donate to the Maui Strong Fund. That's at www.hawaiicommunityfoundation.org. So the Maui Strong Fund is providing financial resources that can be deployed quickly with a focus on rapid response and recovery for the devastating wildfires on Maui. They will not be collecting a fee for donations to the Maui Strong Fund. 100% of the funds will be distributed for community needs. All right, so you can contact them. They have a phone number also at 808-566-5560. And that was just something I wanted to share with you that was highly recommended. And that is something that was referred to me. There's also obviously the regular different organizations, 211, Red Cross, and others. So again, even if you can't send anything. If you can, everything is appreciated, anything. But if you can't, then even sending your intentions, your prayers, your thoughts, your energy is really going to help. And this show is about staying humble. This is our topic. And one of the things that humbled me more than anything was definitely when I lost my house. I lost my house, I lost my cat, my car, all at the same time in the California fires. I talk about that a little bit more extensively in my book. And that was actually what led to this show and led to the book was, oh my gosh, how do you reset and restart when that happens? Staying humble during these very interesting times, it's even more important. Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of the show. And this is how to unlock your dream lifestyle through investing in real estate strategies. And I am your host again, Sheila Mac. Today, we're diving deep into the topic that's not just about property investment or real estate needs, but also about something much more profound: humility and serving others. So, before we jump into the real estate talk, let's talk about the essence of humility. You see, humility isn't about just being modest. It's about having a heart that's open, kind, and considerate. It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected. And by serving others, we uplift ourselves. So, breaking down, what is humility? Humility is the quality of being humble, of having a modest view of one's own importance. It's the opposite of arrogance and pride. And humility starts with the heart. It's about acknowledging our imperfections and embracing the idea that we're all part of something so much bigger. So, humility begins within ourselves. It's about cultivating a mindset that acknowledges our limitations and treats everyone with respect. As real estate investors, practicing humility can help you build strong relationships with clients, colleagues, and partners. It is the foundation of trust and collaboration. So sometimes you think, well, how in the heck can my investing make a difference, or keep me humble, or help me help others in my community? And believe it or not, there is always a way for that to happen. So I literally got into real estate by accident. And so for me, I was running these 5 gift stores starting at 23 years young. And the heart of my gift stores was not selling stuff to people. That wasn't it at all. I mean, that was the vehicle to pay for what my heart wanted to do. And so it was really coming from a very different place than maybe big business retail or something like that. So and that's not to say all, but I'm just saying that it was coming from, how can I serve these people? And my group of people that I really wanted to care for and help and serve was the at-risk youth who were emancipating out of foster care. And the situation with them was nobody wanted to hire them. So I had to figure out a way to provide for them, to give them an income, to give them an opportunity and the training they need, that in 6 months they would actually be able to apply for any job and have that reference and the training. And I went over to, at the time, it was a government program called Job Training Partnership Act. And I had to provide, literally with a camcorder, how to run every aspect of a gift store. And with that program, my young adults that went through the training got above minimum wage while they were in the training program. And then again, when they graduated my program, they were able to emancipate from the training program even, and go start their own business or create the opportunities to get a job where nobody wanted to hire them at first. They didn't have the experience. They're coming out of the situation. And so it was really a gift to me. It was one of my, I guess it was something that it was my heart. It was my heart-centered work that was helping others. Close to 200 kids went through this. And it's like people think, well, how on earth could selling and buying stuff, to sell at a gift store have to do with helping people? So no matter what you're doing, again, it goes back to who you're being. And I really believe it wasn't my skill or talent, but really the heart of why I had those stores and what the whole purpose was to help the community and these kids that blessed me with even more opportunities to be able to then buy the other properties that I had my other stores in and actually get into real estate that way. So it doesn't matter what you're doing again, it matters who you're being. So if you have a business or even if you're an employee somewhere, how you show up and how you treat everyone is going to make a huge difference in your success and your life. I mean, I didn't really, I guess at that young age, starting out at 23, I didn't really care as much about, I wasn't attached to the finances as much as maybe I should have been, or people say you should be. I was attached to the outcome of what is this doing for my kids that are going through this training program. And so with that in mind, I think that every day I went to sleep and I was the richest person on the planet because I was doing a purpose that was beyond me, that had nothing to do with me and everything to do with changing other people's trajectory in their life. And coming from that myself, I wanted to give back to where I came from. And so there's so many ways when you think about staying humble, think about how you can contribute no matter what you're doing for business, how that can equate to giving back to others. Let's relate humility again to real estate. As investors, we often focus on what's in it for me, what's in it for you. But what if we shift the perspective? What if we start asking, how can I serve you better? Serving others in real estate industry can lead to a win-win situation, building a network of trust and mutual benefits. So even when you're going to buy or you're going to sell, how you present your home, how you maybe do that little extra thing is going to make a difference in how fast you sell it. And or when you go to buy, how courteous are you with whoever you're working with, and how that can make all the difference for you. To truly incorporate humility into real estate endeavors, there are some practical steps to consider. So admit when you're wrong. It takes humility to acknowledge mistakes and learn from them. Ask for help when you need it. So if you're brand new to maybe investing in real estate, or from buying your first home to starting to actually build wealth through passive income, through real estate investing, asking others who actually have done the work, own their own properties, bought and sold lots, that's going to be very helpful because it's going to save you thousands of dollars in things that you think you can do, but you can't. Simple things like knowing you need permits or not, or there's so many different things you need to take into consideration that somebody that's experienced in that realm can walk you through. And they are more than happy to do that for you. I love helping my clients. And I can recall as a young girl, I had mentors that were in the real estate field. I was a broker's assistant for a long time, and I learned everything about this brokerage. Now, that person passed away a long time ago, but he taught me everything about the industry and investing and helped me find my own investment deals often as well. And so there's lots of people, when you ask for help, they're more than happy to help you or guide you, walk you through the steps. So that's it. And just being willing to listen. Now, give genuine compliments and practice patience and consideration. Provide genuine compliments. Now, here's the thing. Now I'm going to relate this to, like, let's say you're going to buy a house right now and you're looking with your agent, or you need to find an agent. Definitely that could happen, and you're getting ready to go out. Nowadays, everybody's got like recordings in their house. They've got, the little cameras. So when you go into a house, I mean, before I go into a house with my clients, I always say, hey, we're going into a place that may have recordings, that may have this and that. So, be kind, say kind things, or, we'll talk about whatever you didn't like when we leave privately or whatever, because you don't know. And so it's just being kind and honoring the people that live in that house that may be trying to sell their house. And on the other side of it, if you are trying to sell your house, figure out ways to provide for those people when they walk in. If you want them to take their shoes off or cover their feet, have the little foot covers, the little booties available, or have some water bottles available. What can you do that just can make a little bit of difference to help make whoever walks into your home more comfortable? And that's literally, it's like a subliminal kind of like, oh, okay, I was thirsty. And so if somebody's hot and thirsty, they're not going to look at your home as much as if they had a drink, a little cold water, keep the air conditioner down, things like that, so that people can enjoy the experience and really look at the opportunity to buy your home and envision how comfortable living there would be. So if you don't open the windows and do all these things to make the little difference, you might be on the market a little longer than you want. So it's like you're thanking people for showing up to view your property, whether it's a commercial building, a home, whatever it is that you are looking to purchase or that you're selling. It's the same. It's staying humble, it's staying gratitude, it's in gratitude and grateful for them just showing up. Now, when John talked about appreciating the intricate work of bees, it taught me the valuable lesson of humility, fearlessness, and the beauty of collaboration. Just like bees work together to create something extraordinary, real estate investors can achieve greatness by fostering meaningful connections and partnerships. Speaking of connections, I do love to guide you on your real estate journey. So, as a real estate agent and lifestyle strategist, I help people from saving strategically. It may be that you or somebody you know is getting ready to buy their very first home or real estate investment. And I help people go from maybe they need to clean up their debt, they need to prepare. It might take 6 months to a year to actually be ready to jump into the market, depending on where you're at. And so I love to help people or to strategically figure out how to leverage your home for investment purposes. So you may be sitting on equity and not realize that you can go buy property right now that would produce income for you. And there's so many different ways, so it's very individualized. I do love to do one-on-one or group consultations with a small group to help you figure out your best way to invest for you and your family. And the essential question is for many people right now, is your house serving you or are you serving your house? So together we'll make sure that your property becomes a tool to fuel your dreams. Whether you are that first time home buyer, a seasoned investor, or someone looking to embrace a vacation lifestyle, I am here to empower you. If you are ready to buy and sell, reach out to me, Sheila Mac. I am with Keller Williams Beverly Hills, and I do work with a group of hand-picked agents that I've worked with over many, many years across the United States. So when you work with me, if you are in a different location, I am able to continue working with you and refer you to one of those top agents that I know will be able to help you best. So you can schedule a real estate strategy coaching session with me. Go ahead and message me at sheilamac.com, or you can dial 310-432-6400 to schedule your real estate strategy session. Remember, it's time to stop working for your house and start making your house work for you. So join me again on the Sheila Mac Show, where we unlock your dream lifestyle through real estate strategies. And then we are continuing the collaboration series with John C. Morley, where each week we will be sharing a business and investing strategies and how we can transform together during this time. We'll turn your property investments into vehicles again for your dream lifestyle, and we'll help you with your business and your personal life. So thank you again for tuning in to today's special episode. Stay tuned for more practical advice, inspiring stories, and expert insights. Together, we'll make your dream lifestyle a reality. I'm Sheila Mac, and I can't wait to guide you on this incredible path to success.
You need a guide to show you how we get through a situation like this, to give you resources and to help you get out of the emotional pea soup fog of dealing with a crisis and the resulting fallout. I've been there, and I'm here to help you. Out of the fog. If you weren't emotionally bound up in your situation, you would have more clarity. You would be able to see your best options for dealing with whatever comes up. If the version of yourself who has already walked through this rock bottom and come out the other end could go back in time and give you, the you right now, some advice, what would she say? Would she tell you to slow down, to stop rushing, that you don't have to have all the answers today? Would the future you recommend not making any major decisions without reviewing them first, particularly while you're still in the fog? Would she tell you that normal is going to look different for a while, but that you will feel normal again? In case we haven't invented time travel by the time you read this book, I'm here to tell you all of the above. I developed the Boots formula to help you learn to make choices, have a life shift, and make great things happen based on your individual values and best life vision. A change is going to happen, and it's worth it. There is a stage where it feels like everyone in your life is picking at you. Life itself may seem like it's trying its best to stop you from doing whatever you want to do. All you hear is, "That's a stupid idea," and "That's never going to work," and "Who do you think you are?" One of the hardest things for people to do is to realign and possibly walk away from anything and anyone that conflicts with their value systems. But you are going to discover that power within yourself. Through the activities and examples in this book, you will discover your true north and will be able to easily do what is needed to move forward with your life. Anything that hurts you, that doesn't resonate for you, that fights against what you want and believe in, you are going to give it the boot. Once you have turned your rock bottom moment into a positive, beautiful life shift, you can live your life on your terms. Your life will probably look different, but you get to design it this time. You are taking your life back, and you are in charge, not anybody else. Sooner than you can imagine, you'll be in the career of your dreams or the relationship you always wanted. Because you are going to learn to develop healthy boundaries. Because you are going to do things differently along the way from here to there. You will begin to attract the people, the job, the place to live, all of the opportunities that align with who you are, your essence, your truth, not anybody else's or even society's expectations of the way you're supposed to be. Once you have accepted that you are in charge of living your life and you begin to embody living your truth, people are going to see you. They're going to be inspired by you. Then you're going to hear, "Hey, can you show me how you did that? I want to do it too." When you assess your peer group and up-level according to your life purpose and vision, and once you have created a life shift for yourself, whatever that looks like, your life is not just full, it's fulfilled. Not only do you get more and better sleep, you wake up feeling rested and happy. You know that you're doing what you need to do. Yes, sometimes your heart will call you to leave certain friends or family members in order to find a more aligned peer group. From what I've seen, however, the ones who leave always return to lead their family and friends to success. Because your friends are more in alignment with your beliefs and value system, they support you while also pushing you toward your personal best. Life still involves work, but as a whole, it feels far more effortless. But you don't have to wait for the right person, right job, or right investment opportunity to show up. You can start living now so that every moment as you go forward through the process of recovering from rock bottom and redesigning your life is one more step to being the best version of you.
Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheila Mac's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. If life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.sheilamac.com today.